What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City, Don P. We're back here once again, and you already know what time it is. We got some breaking news, but we get into all of. Are we tripping right now? We tripping? Hold on, let me make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure we ain't got none of these problems because I don't want none of them. I don't want none of these problems today. Not today. Hold on. Be right back. Burb. All right, just had to make sure everything was good. All right. One thing's for certain and three things for sure. When you see me in front of your TV, number one, the Motor City Cats are back at it. Not static. Number three. Want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself, how, Don? How does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's simple. I'm going to tell you. You know I don't keep nothing from you. Smash like button, subscribe, share. And once you've done these three things in any order, you've done them and you've indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since sharing is caring, when you bring your peoples to the stream, you got to tell them, look over yonder. You say, look here. And you got to tell them what the stream has. You say the stream got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, rams, hog, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, beans. You name it. We got all the shoes. We got all the news. We got all the drinks. We got all the brews. And today, we're going to be talking about some breaking news. Now, I know it's a lot of excitement. What up, though, in the chat? Everybody. What up, though, Robert Stevens? What up, though, Josh Prince? What up, though, Irv Gotti? What up, though, Tactical Sport? What up, though, Mr. Detroit City? Yeah, the news. DJ Wanham, former Carolina Panther, former Minnesota Viking, up to 6 million. Hold on, man. Are y'all getting any buffering? Is the stream smooth? Let me know. Because if not, there's a background program that I can turn off. But let me know, what is the stream quality looking like for you? Is it all good? Is it? Appreciate you, Mr. Detroit City. But let me know in the comments. You are getting buffering. Okay. All right. Let me do this right quick then. One second. Stream quality looking like Hutch, not Davenport. Well, that's good to know. All right, let me go ahead and Okay, it was installed. So what are we doing? I had something. I had something downloading in the background, but since it's not downloading, I don't really know what the issue is then. Because it already finished downloading. All right. Anyway, it's good now. All right, cool. All right, DJ Wonnum. As I said, he played with the Carolina Panthers last season, and before that, he was with the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm pretty sure y'all remember the name DJ Wonnum. You know, he was getting some sacks and things of that nature against us. Okay, all right. He was getting some sacks and things of that nature against us, and yeah, now he is on the team. So let's go ahead with his profile, and then we'll talk a little bit more about DJ Wonnum. Okay, so I have a player profile on DJ Wonnum. Full name: Dennis O. Wonnum Jr. Position: edge rusher / outside linebacker. Height, weight: 6'5", 258. Everything sounds like what the Lions want so far, right? Age 28, college South Carolina, two-time team captain, second team All SEC in 2019, drafted 2020 NFL draft, fourth round, 117th overall by the Minnesota Vikings. All right, fourth round draft pick. NFL career journey: Minnesota Vikings 2020 to 2023, Carolina Panthers 2024 to 2025. Current status and recent news: Wonnum is currently an unrestricted free agent, which is not true. He is a Detroit Lion. After finishing out a 2-year contract with the Carolina Panthers, he is actively testing the open market and just recently took a free agent visit to the Detroit Lions, which he didn't leave from, and he signed to the Detroit Lions to potentially add veteran depth to their edge rusher rotation. NFL statistics: 2025 season stats, Carolina Panthers, games played 16, 15 starts. All right. No Marcus Davenport type stuff here, right? 16 games, 15 starts, total tackles 42, 3 sacks, 1 interception, 3 passes defended. Career stats: 2020 to 2025, total tackles 250, sacks 30, tackles for loss 32, forced fumbles 3, interceptions 1. All right. So that's the guy. His contract is, hold on, I saw it here. All right. Let's see what his contract numbers say. All right, so this is an article from ESPN. It says free agent defensive end DJ Wonnum is signing a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the Detroit Lions, his agents told ESPN's Adam Schefter. Wonnum heads to Detroit after a 2-year stint with the Carolina Panthers. He didn't get on the field with Carolina until midway through the 2024 season due to a quad injury. Up, damn. Okay, now we know why he signed. During a quad injury he suffered with the Minnesota Vikings and was limited to 4 sacks. He had only 3 sacks the past season despite starting 15 games for the Panthers. Wonnum's overall lack of production for a team that ranked near the bottom of the NFL in sacks and quarterback pressures made him expendable in Carolina, particularly since the Panthers would have to pay him $825,000 in dead money on top of a new deal. The Vikings took Wonnum in the 4th round of the 2020 NFL draft. He has 30 career sacks in 6 seasons, including 8 for Minnesota in both 2021 and 2023. Okay, so he had 2 seasons where he had 8 sacks. Where's his contract information? All right, let's see. I know it's up to $6 million. So yeah, it's up to $6 million. So we're good with that, yeah? Now, I was not downloading Arc Raiders. You think they will play him in the Anzalone role? I think he's too big for that. You know what I mean? We shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't. But you already know what it is. You know what it is with Shep. You know what it is with Shep. Coach Shep likes to play him out of position. Coach Shep looking at him like, hey, man, you ever play cornerback? Coach Shep, you ever play cornerback, man? I'm just trying to see, you know? And DJ looked at me like I was crazy. And then I had him out there at cornerback, right behind Terrion, right? At least we can close the DDI chapter. Yes, we can, right? We can. He's relatively healthy, right? He had a quad injury. That's about it. Relatively unproductive the last couple of seasons. So it is what it is. Micah. Is Micah 258? I didn't know he was that heavy. What up, though, SCA Sports Talk? The Davenport chapter isn't closed until he signs elsewhere or retires. We're going to tentatively close the chapter. We're going to tentatively close that book and not read from it again unless we have to. So, you know, prayers up for Davenport's return to somewhere else or for his retirement or finding a brand new team anywhere but here. Okay, anywhere but here. Hold on now. Yes, sir. Just got an email, long awaited. How's life, man? Life's good, man. Can't complain. Let me enjoy this as the chairman of the anti-DDI movement. I mean, so how do y'all feel overall about the signing? I mean, obviously it's a depth piece. And I have a question for you guys, right? I got a question for you guys. I'm giving them all right now, SGA. All right. Here's my question. Shout out Easy. Shout out Heavyweights. You already know. Based on the Jalen Waddle trade, where they received a first, a third, and a fourth for Jalen Waddle. Now, remembering that this happened with the Denver Broncos and their pick number 30, right? So they're getting the 30th pick in the first round, the 30th pick in the third round, and the 30th pick in the fourth round, which basically is a second, a fourth, and a fifth. Okay? The question was, would you trade JMO for this type of package? Obviously, my answer is no. Y'all already know I'm the official keeper of the JMO. My answer is no. So that's not even really the question. We got all of these holes. We just signed a Marcus Davenport replacement, which means for most teams, he's depth. For this team, he is the guy opposite Hutch until I see otherwise. He is the guy opposite Hutch until I see otherwise. So my question to you guys in the chat is, if you were to acquire The exact same trade package for Jameson Williams. I'm not even going to say it needs to be more, it needs to be less, because my question is not about trading JMO. You know, that's not on the table for me. I am the official keeper of the JMO and I keep that man. Okay? That's my son. All right? I love him like a play cousin. The question then becomes, based on the track record of Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Cornelius, Ignatius, Sagittarius, John Quarius, John Q. Public, Horatio, Julio Cesar Chavez Holmes. Based on the history of this man, if he had this first, this third, and this fourth, with all of the holes that we had, would you trust that he would adequately address the edge position? And that comes after this signing. So we're going to put this signing into the equation. Do you trust that he would adequately address the edge position? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. It's better than what we currently have on the roster. Oh, we currently had nothing on the roster except for Hutch. We currently had no one on the active roster other than Hutch. So yes, having someone who can play edge on the roster outside of Hutch, awesome. It's awesome. Don, this is how I feel. Bye, Mr. DDI. From the injuries to the headaches, the patience is dry. He left his home, kissed his mother goodbye, saying soon I'm going to be DDI. Soon I'm going to be DDI. Shout out. If you know, you know, use the hashtag. Melvin needs brain depth. Nope, this is him addressing the edge position in his mind. That's pretty much what I thought when the question got asked. Dr. Detroit typing in the sarcasm font. He says, "Woo! Super Bowl moves. Brad Cook. Woo! That's me. Gonna get some cold cuts today. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Woo! 43. That's me. Yes, sir. I do. I really like the Weird Al Yankovic version. My, that there Anakin guy. Saying soon I'm going to be a Jedi. Soon I'm going to be a Jedi. You think he a good fit for us? I think he's a Marcus Davenport replacement. But I think he has more production than Marcus Davenport because he's not going to be out there playing not to get injured. I think DJ Wonnum made plays against the Detroit Lions, you know? So we'll see. No, I don't think Ignatius fills edge with that trade or now at all. Facts. Nick Shirley is going to expose Melvin for fraud next. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm working on an expose for somebody. Keep you posted. Somebody just sent me an email address to an investigative reporter. That's all I'm going to say. So now it's WDI now. No, it's not WDI. Come on now. Wonnum has had one injury. That's it. He's nowhere near Davenport. So here's what I was thinking when the trade was put out there That's the first thing that I thought. Because, most of the chat hates, most of their chat hates J-Mo. Well, I can't even say that because they put a poll up in the chat and 55% said that they would not trade J-Mo. Obviously, it's the vocal minority that was, yeah, hell yeah, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't even think in terms of the package. I thought in terms of if we gave Brad all of these picks, what is he actually going to do with them? We would like to think that he would address and fill the holes in the needs, but you already know he's gonna use those picks now, because right now he's got 2 firsts, he's got a third which he didn't have, and he's got now 3 fourths. Right. So he's going to use those in a package deal. And I wouldn't even say that the package deal doesn't get made in with the first pick of the first round. Right. If you have the 17th and the 30th and you package both of those and try to move up to somewhere in the top 10, I mean, I think you could. For a team that's in the top 10 and it's just like, so I saw, well, I don't think you could move up this far. But Daniel Jeremiah did his mock draft, right? And Daniel Jeremiah is usually pretty accurate. And he had the Titans taking Jeremiah Love at 4, which I think is completely asinine. I think you get some protection for your young quarterback. I understand that you don't have any offensive firepower and you need weapons, but Jeremiah Love at 4 is crazy. It's crazy. It's malfeasance. And then also Robert Saleh is now your head coach. Anybody at number 4 is going to be a defensive player. It's going to be a Sonny Styles. It's going to be someone like that can help his defense go over the top. Because that's what Robert Saleh knows. He knows defense. He made his bones off of defense. And that's why he's gotten now 2 head coaching jobs. He had the Jets job, which was a bad job. And now he's got the Titans job, which could be equally bad if you messed around and at number 4, you took Jeremiah Love, who's a running back. Who's blocking for Jeremiah Love? Who's opening the holes for Jeremiah Love? I don't know. Which is why I think that there are things that needed to be addressed before that. But the point in me saying this is I think that there are teams in the top 10 that don't necessarily want to be in the top 10. I think Jeremiah Love at number 4 is a pick that's, I don't want to call it reactionary. I just feel like it's not the pick that you want to make. You know what I mean? Like it's not that pick. So if you said 17 and 30, or let's say someone was like 25, 17 and 25, they traded you, you got that package. If Brad moves up into the top 10, now with those 2 first-round picks, is he going to take a tackle? He for sure is not moving up for an edge rusher. Is he going to take a safety? Is he going to try to get in a position to grab Sonny Styles? Do you know what I mean? Because Sonny Styles is a kind of a do-it-all type of guy. He can play on all 3 levels of the defense. He can play on the line. He can play edge for you. He can play linebacker, and he can play safety because he was a safety before he converted to linebacker. Right. And he tested better than Kyle Hamilton. He tested better than all the safeties in the combine this year. So someone like that, I wouldn't be mad at that. That is a jack of all trades and a master of all of them too. So I would not be upset about that type of player. But is that what he moves up to get? Right. Or does he stay at 17 and then just use some of the other ammo to say, okay, now I'm at 30 or 25. Let me get up to 18. You know what I mean? And try, I don't know. but I don't really necessarily trust that he would address the edge position. What up, though, Mr. Morale 313? Of course you would. I'm late, but I'm here. What's cracking? DJ Wanham signed. We're talking about a trade that was proposed earlier on the heavyweights, which was the same package that the Miami Dolphins got for Waddle. Would you give J-Mo up for that package? But my question is not would you give him up? If you were to have that package, would you then trust Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Ignatius, Holmes to address a glaring need in the draft? Yeah, he'll package them up for another wide receiver, SMH. Sneaky good move. I guess you can say that. Bob will be fired and back in Dearborn within a year. I don't know about all that. He takes the LSU corner. DB Snob. Look, if we were to trade J-Mo for that package and then Brad used those assets, and not even like, so if he used the second first round pick for a corner, it would hurt less than for him to package everything up and trade up into the top 10 to grab a corner. I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. I know I'm the minority here, but I wish we could have hired Salah over Dan. I like Dan as a head coach, but with Robert, we wouldn't have to worry about the defense. I wanted Robert Salah for sure. Now, based on his offense with the Jets, I don't know. I don't know if he has the coordinator acumen. The same as we say about Dan Campbell. Does he have the coordinator acumen? Because Dan Campbell has proven a few times that he doesn't. He's only hit on Ben Johnson, Osama Ben Johnson. Sorry, I misspoke his name. I didn't say it correctly. He's only hit on Osama Ben Johnson, and Osama Ben Johnson was already on the staff. All he did was give him a chance. So he didn't bring him in. It wasn't a hire. It was a promotion. You feel me? So we definitely wouldn't have the offense that we have. I'm not trading J-Mo. Yeah, we not trading J-Mo. What package are we talking about? So the package that the Miami Dolphins received for Jalen Waddle was a first, a third, and a fourth. But mind you, they received this from the Denver Broncos, who had the 30th pick in the draft. So their first was basically an early second. Their third is basically an early fourth. And their fourth is basically an early fifth. Right? But would you trust Brad now, especially with the DJ Wanham signing? Would you trust him to address the edge position adequately or do something else? That was the question. The question is not really the trading J-Mo stuff is not even valid. But if you were to trade him for that package, would you trust him? Because the way that the question was presented was, oh, we have all of these needs, we have all these holes. Would you take this package for J-Mo? But my question is, while we do have all the needs and we do have all the holes, do you then trust Brad to go out there and fill the needs adequately? Or is he going to trade up for basically take these things, package them up, and basically get one pick out of them? You know what I mean? But I mean, he did use picks to trade back into the first round to get J-Mo. So, you know, he's done it before. Don't forget Dirty Sean Payton's relationship with the Dolphins. He almost went there with Torn Brady back in the day. Price seems sus with Tom Brady. Bro, look, I don't know. The price is crazy. I don't know. I don't know why Denver did that. Did you really need? And even if you have, I guess it's the speed of a Jalen Waddle, really, and that's why I think Jamo's faster, but that's why there was the comparison, and purely speed, I believe, is why you gave up a first, a third, and a fourth. I feel like they felt like one of the things that they were missing is that real deep threat. I know Cortland Sutton can get down there, but is he a burner? No. Right? Is he going to burn you deep? No. He get down there, he'll get deep, like a big possession receiver. But they didn't have that burner. So I guess they're going, well, we've got the quarterback in Bo Nix who has the arm to get it down there. So we need to utilize that, and that's going to help push us over the top. Now, I don't know. I feel like they probably would have beat the Patriots because even the game, the AFC Championship game wasn't a barn burner. It was a defensive struggle. The difference was that the Patriots had their starting quarterback and the Broncos did not. Right? So if Bo Nix is in that game, the Broncos could have won. And I feel like the Broncos might have put up a better fight in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, but who knows? It's crazy that both of the AFC opponents would have led to the two previous Super Bowls for Seattle. Right? Remember they had the Patriots one where they lost because of Malcolm Butler picked him off at the goal line because for whatever reason Pete Carroll didn't run with beast mode. And then they had the Broncos one that they won. So it would have been nice to see the Broncos win and then avenge their loss instead of the Patriots win and then the Seahawks avenge their loss to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So I would have liked to have seen a different outcome. Who would you trade that's worth a first or a second round pick? Do we have anybody that's worth a first or second round pick? If you're just trying to trade someone who's worth that, unpopular opinion would be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Not saying that I'm trading him, but when we talk about, and Mike, shout out to Mike, Lions Live 365, he mentioned this as well, that when it's a big game, it's JMO. And if you go back and look at the playoff games and stuff like that, I mean, look at who got off in the NFC Championship game. That was JMO. It wasn't Amon-Ra. JMO got off on that one. Right? Who got off against the Commanders? JMO. Right? So when it's a big game, our big game receiver is JMO. Right? So obviously there's the leadership aspect and there's the culture fit and all this other stuff that Amon-Ra St. Brown provides. So I'm not saying to trade him, but when we talking about big game stuff, I mean, we know we got the big game receiver. He's number one. That's all I'm saying. Best comp is if the Patriots called us for JMO. Yeah. Similar, but they would have a worse pick too. So that's crazy. Sean Payton is a dirty coach, Bonnie Gate himself, and runs when the team tanks. Not gonna lie, I won a Daboll in 2020 for head coach. I don't think I ever won a Daboll. Just keeping it real. Goff could get us. I don't think Goff could gets us 2 firsts, bro. Who's gonna trade for Goff and give us 2 firsts? Lions want him. You want him? Boom, boom. What up, though? Here's Johnny. Yeah, St. Brown's more of a big mouth guy, not big game guy. I agree. He can slide. Those big games are because of St. Brown. If you look at the defensive scheme, I feel you. I'm not going to argue with that. And again, I'm not saying to trade St. Brown. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have someone else, because the question was, who do we have that's worth a first or a second? Or who would you trade that's worth a first or a second? That's why I just threw St. Brown out there. You know, I think with more opportunities, J-Mo could be a 1,500 plus yard receiver. I mean, he had 1,000 yards this year. When through the first 9 weeks of the season, you had an offensive coordinator that gushed over him and talked to how much they wanted to get him the ball, but then couldn't figure out how to get him the ball unless it was behind the line of scrimmage. And he still, with those 9 games, he still had over 1,000 yards this season. So, yeah. Nowhere Goff wants to go. Yeah, but where is he gonna go? Who's trading 2 firsts for Jared Goff? Let's look at the Raiders. Are the Raiders giving up 2 firsts, or are they just gonna take their first, their number 1 overall pick, and go with Fernando Mendoza? I mean, if I've got the number 1 overall pick and I've got a quarterback who's the consensus number 1 coming out, well, I'm gonna take that guy. Because while Jared Goff has proven that he is a Super Bowl quarterback. He's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And Goff does have his limitations. Are you trading for a guy that has those limitations and giving up 2 first-round picks for it? I don't know. I really don't. And especially because your 2 first-round picks, if you're trading for a quarterback who's not what you would call dynamic, and this is not Goff bashing, right? Let's just look at the hypotheticals of this situation. If you're trading for a quarterback who's not what you would call dynamic, then your picks are going to be high anyway. If the Detroit Lions are trading for a quarterback, it's going to be someone who the organization bumped their head and decided to put him on the trade block, like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, right? Because you're trying to upgrade at quarterback. You're trying to get over the hump and say, okay, we believe that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow can get us to and win the Super Bowl. So no matter what if your pick number 25, 29, 30, 31, right? If you're trying to make that move and not saying like, if you're pick number 31, why would the Bills give you Josh Allen for a 31 and a 32 next year? Right? If you're that high, or I'm sorry, if your picks are that low and you're now trading for a quarterback to put you over the top, why would I help you and give you that quarterback? And your compensation is going to be very close to nothing. Josh Allen is going for 2 second-round picks. Lamar Jackson is going for 2 second-round picks. Joe Burrow is going for 2 second-round picks in that scenario. So that's why I'm saying, where does he go? You know, that's the only question I have there. Shut down St. Brown and let everybody else beat us. I got you. I got you. And that's a dumb strategy, right? That's it, because that's like, okay, we can't shut down Jordan, right? So we're going to shut down everybody else and let Jordan beat us. So that's Jordan, right? St. Brown, if it's like, okay, let's shut down everybody else or let's shut down St. Brown and see if everybody else can beat us. Well, is J-Mo Pippen or is he better than Pippen? You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. We shut down St. Brown and let this man whose speed is almost unmatched in the NFL get to the edge, beat us to the corner, beat us down the field. Doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And that would have backfired on the 49ers had we not had all the other things going on. Which might be something that we're going to talk about tomorrow night on Syndicats 365. Stay tuned. Aleem is paid like a first, but that's just because Melvin lost his ish. I don't think I was ever like a huge fan of the Aleem McNeil contract. I haven't been as high on Aleem McNeil as others. It's just the injuries. Everybody's always injured, and it gets annoying. But you're right; he's the only one that could command that kind of trade value. The Jets could have Cleveland. Houston could do what we did, F them picks, and drop Stroud. Nah. Houston is not a place where you put Goff because they don't know how to build an offensive line. They don't know how to draft an offensive line. They don't know how to keep players on the offensive line that they already have, like Laramie Tunsil. So we're fretting over a tackle and a guard right now, especially a guard, because that's interior pass rush. That's interior pressure, and Goff can't handle it. So you send him to Houston, and if Houston's intelligent, they've watched film on Goff and then just go, oh, well, he's better than CJ Stroud, so we'll give up 2 firsts. Right? You watch film on Goff last season, every season of his career, and he can't handle pressure coming up the middle, and you can't get an offensive line for him. You're just wasting 2 first-round picks because you're not going to do anything. He's going to be too busy getting sacked. CJ Stroud is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league, and he's got mobility. So, no. The Houston thing definitely wouldn't work. Cleveland's offensive line isn't great either. Right? Cleveland's offensive line isn't great either. So, again, you're giving up 2 first-round picks, and you don't have an established offensive line. You're not just a quarterback away. You know what I'm saying? Hutch and Panay are both worth 2 firsts in the now. Okay. Yeah, they're worth it, but that's not the type of player that you want to part with. You like those are like franchise cornerstones. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a wide receiver. And I know what he means in the locker room, and I know what he means to the culture, and I know what he means to the city, but I'm just talking about the position. He's a wide receiver. Wide receivers are, if they want to say dime a dozen. So you can't say that about J-Mo because you can't coach 4-2, 4-1. Right? If Worthy pans out to be anything for the Chiefs, I mean, he has the fastest combine 40 on record. You can't coach that. You can't just find that. Right? Amon-Ra St. Brown is a possession wide receiver. That's what you say, dime a dozen. You found him in the 4th round for goodness sakes. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, you don't want to trade away a Hutch or a Panay. I know they would fetch 2 firsts for sure. Maybe 2 firsts. Probably, yeah. With Hutch, I think you get one first and additional compensation. I don't know if you right now. I don't know if you get two first for Hutch. No, we're doing some hypotheticals here. Nobody's being traded. It's a hypothetical trade conversation. We should have traded Aleem in a first for Max and re-signed DJ Reader. But what do I know? St. Brown said, "I don't know ball." I don't think that trade was ever on the table. The capologist sitting in his, in his domicile in the capital in captivity. I don't believe it, bro. There's too many things that they've never come to fruition, and we've been in on them. Just because you picked up the phone and made a cursory phone call doesn't mean that you were in on the trade. So I think Aleem McNeil is too important to Brad Holmes because he's one of his draft picks, and we know he's in love with each and every one of his guys. Right? It pained him to let go of Hendon Hooker. It pained him to let go of Broderick Martin. But who else has he drafted that he's let go of? Hell, Colby Sorsdahl is still on the freaking team. For what reason? What purpose does Colby Sorsdahl hold? I'm upset that he has a roster spot. Why is his bum still on the team? Get him off the team. Send Goff to the Steelers. Screw him. Let him and Karen play. Again, so what are you getting from the Steelers? What are you getting from the Steelers? The Steelers are a playoff team. You're getting bad picks. Just getting bad picks. Speaking of speed, yeah, F it, trade St. Brown since Henry Ruggs is going to get out soon. Let's just fly, baby, fly. I heard that he was already out, but he needs to apply for reinstatement. Ruggs times JMO equals shake and bake, baby. Ricky Bobby, I like to go fast. Levi is still here. Yeah, and that's why I said who he's let go. You know what I mean? That's what I meant by that. You know? And I really don't understand why Levi is still here. I really just... Josh Paschal. There you go. He let Josh Paschal go. That's one of his guys that he let go that he drafted. Okay. Does James Mitchell even count? James Mitchell is a tight end. Sure. These people that were on the fringes anyway, I believe Josh Paschal wasn't on the fringes, but so Josh Paschal, I don't understand. I don't understand the difference between Josh Paschal and Levi Onwuzurike. Levi Onwuzurike was routinely missing whole seasons and whole chunks of seasons because of his back. Josh Paschal would miss a handful of games here, a handful of games there. This was the only season that he's missed the entirety of. So I don't see what's the huge difference between the two. And when he was at the combine and he was like, "Oh yeah, Levi's coming back. Oh, Josh, there's some things that we have to discuss." What's the difference? What's the difference? Both of them are injury prone. Neither one of them is super duper productive. I don't understand. I really don't. Give us Deshaun Elliott back from Pittsburgh. Well, we need to do something in the safety market. Unless they know more about Kirby's situation than us. So maybe to them, it feels like he's he's coming back and he's gonna come back strong. I don't know. I met yet another disappointment of why is Levi still here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand it. I believe 2 strong defenders would move the needle. You mean in a trade or with acquisition from traded assets? Or you're just saying in general? I don't think Melvin really wanted to say the big C word is back for Pascal. I don't know. Is it back? I thought it was a back injury or something. Did he have a what is it? It's not a relapse. Is it a recurrence or something? Honestly, all of this edge rusher drama was solved if we would have just kept Z Smith, who we gave up draft capital for. Yeah, it's facts. I mean, he's older, right? So old that he retired. But definitely the drama wouldn't have been here last season. You know, the one we just finished. You know, in the offseason, there might have been a will he, won't he type of situation as far as retirement or whatever. But during the season, you wouldn't have had any of it. 2 more defenders. So where do you think that these defenders would come from to move the needle? Offense or defensive line, linebacker room, safety room, corner, like secondary room. Where do you think that they need to be? And if they're big name guys, where are they coming from? Is it a trade? Is it a signing? You know, cancer is not the reason why Pascal can't make it in the NFL. You know, he does have a lot of injuries and he can't be on the field if he's injured, but he also, you know, in my opinion, if you go back, and I keep saying this, but if you go back to the Buffalo Bills game, when the Buffalo Bills wanted to show everybody that the Lions weren't that team that everybody thought they were during the 15-2 season, look at how many tackles that man missed. But he's supposed to be adept at stopping the run. So the question is, was he sick? Was he injured? Was he a combination of both this entire time? I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm done with excuses. I didn't give him any excuses. I said he wasn't very good. I said he wasn't very good at all. I was speaking to the things Melvin said he had to discuss with Pascal. I thought cancer was one of those things. I mean, it could have been. But I just don't understand either one of them still being on the roster. I feel like just cut both of them. You know? Just cut both of them. You know, I think Pascal walked away with no dead cap. And Levi probably could have done the same thing. So I don't know why. Edge and linebacker. Okay. So who are the solid people that you have your eye on for those 2 positions? And is this free agency or the draft as well? I think we still need a safety, an edge rusher, a true number 1 cornerback, and a linebacker. So we need everything on defense. all of the phases, all of the levels. Edge and a strong coverage LB or edge and a shutdown corner. Where are we getting a shutdown corner from? It's my question. Are we getting this in the draft? Are we getting this in free agency? Are we getting this via trade? You know? Let's just get the edge and go from there. Where? That's Brad's job. I'm saying we talking about it. We talking about it, and you got the suggestion. So I'm just asking you, where do we get this person from? You know, I mean, it would move the needle if Brad drafted an edge in the first round. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it really doesn't matter what his name is. It's just the fact that Brad departed from everything we've ever known him to do. Obviously, when it came to fresh, why do I have this freshwater and saltwater thing in my mind? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the edge thing. Honestly, if he drafted an edge in the first round, it wouldn't matter what his name is because he's never done it outside of Hutch. You know? Outside of Hutch, it just wasn't valuable to him. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Mailbag. What you going to do? What you going to do when they're reading you? Snickers, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. I was going to bring in Tyler Conklin's press conference, but I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. Also, if you've gone to the mockmachine.com and you've tried it out, I know there was a bit of an issue with the rosters. For some reason, it was pulling in old roster data. I do not know why, because we have, for the GM mode, we have the up-to-date roster data with the scraper and everything. So when I was just doing just the draft, and I had put in the mechanism so that you could trade picks from this year, picks from the future year, and then players as well to make trades. So let me know if you find the rosters to be out of date still, because it shouldn't be. Those 2 third-round picks would be huge right now. They would be. But, we had to have Tesla. Do you want them or not? That's the question. I mean, I really don't mind. It's, as Tactical said earlier, it's better than what we had. And what we had was simply Hutch. Nobody else on the active roster that can play edge rusher. So yeah. In my opinion, we shouldn't be wasting a first round pick on the offensive side of the ball. We need a guard and can get one in the second. What say you? And where would you use that first round pick? The problem is this. They don't have a tackle. If Larry Borom, who's your starting tackle right now, $5 million guaranteed. Are you comfortable going into the season with Larry Borom as your starting tackle? And if he doesn't work out, you don't have any young stud waiting in the wings developing. I don't want to take a tackle in the first round. I really don't, which is why I wanted them to address that need in free agency. Rasheed Walker went for a decent contract. It wasn't anything crazy. It was decent. You know, I think it was like $9 million a year, maybe 10. Fine. For a tackle, a starting left tackle. Come on, dude. So because they didn't address that need adequately in free agency, well, now it's on the table in the draft. Monroe Freeling or the dude from Mizzou. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. What up, though? 313 Thug Living. Appreciate the super sticker for $2. Tackle has to be a first round pick, and that's the problem. The tackle has to be a first round pick. So you can pretty much pencil in a tackle in the first round, unless it's shades of Frank Ragnow. We believe in Larry Borum, just like we believed in Graham Glasgow. How did that work out? If you want to go down that road again, you can, but don't be surprised when you get messed up shocks because that road is full of potholes. Don't be surprised. Think we will see some test downs this year? Sure. Unless he gets injured during training camp, which hopefully he does not. Yeah, you forgot about, yeah, that's the problem. So did Brad Holmes. Nowadays, everybody want to talk that they got something to say, but none comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish because Brad Holmes act like he forgot about tackle. Y'all know me, still the same old OT. Still hated on by most of these GMs and OCs. Looking at me mad because I got old knees. And a guard you can get in the fourth. You can. But what was that dude's name? Ben Birch. Shout out Lion Syndicate. He told me about Ben Birch yesterday, and then I saw somewhere else that they were visiting with Ben Birch. And he's another fourth round pick, just like DJ Wanham. I think they got picked in the same year. So I think he was a few spots ahead or behind DJ Wanham. I think ahead, few spots ahead. And so, yeah, if he comes in, I'm more comfortable with him than Christian Mahogany. I'm not comfortable with Christian Mahogany at all. $6 million. Is that enough? $6 million for an edge? $6 million. I don't know. I'm over here, detective. $6 million. I don't know. $6 million. $6 million. Y'all been on my ass. $6 million. Is that enough? I don't know. Yeah, I got you. I know what you were doing. I'm on point. I'm tucked in there, dog. You tucked in there? I'm tucked in there, dog. I'm tucked in. You tucked it. I'm tucked in there, dog. You tucked it. I'm tucked in, dog. Taco in the first, trade up in the second for an edge. That is probably the move. What are the assets that we're using to trade up in the second round to get an edge? That's the question. All right. Any more mailbags? I mean, even though y'all didn't title them mailbag, y'all was asking questions, so you know what I mean. It's all good. It's semantics at the end of the day. Going once, going twice. So, to the man in the back with a fresh head of lice, looking like he needs a bowl of rice because he just dropped his cell phone in the toilet. That defense is going to be an issue next season. I really don't see a way to properly address it when we have the issues on the O-line. Now you see why I was pounding the table for a tackle and a guard who can legitimately start in free agency. That's why I wanted to address that in free agency, because all the other things are stuff that you can get later, stuff that you can deal with later, you know? Antonio Jenkins, what up, though? He says, this whole offseason has been underwhelming, not going to lie. Facts, big facts. Day 3 picks, only talking like 10 picks up. I mean, maybe if they'll take them. 8 and 9 season. I hope not. I don't want to be right so much that I want us to be 8 and 9. I'd rather be super duper wrong. And this team goes to the playoffs and gets on a heater towards the end of the season and runs it up to the Super Bowl. That would be awesome. Do I think that's going to happen? No. How about Juice Scruggs? Anybody that comes from, look, you have to look at the situation he was released from. Now, he wasn't released, he was traded, but they were comfortable trading him for not much, right? They got David Montgomery in return, and he was a throw-in in that trade. He came from Houston's offensive line. When Houston doesn't want you on the offensive line, well, actually, no, scratch that, because they didn't want Laramie Tunsil for some stupid reason. But you know, like with all the holes and stuff that they have on their offensive line, and they didn't find that Juice Scruggs was an answer, I feel like he's not an answer. That's what I feel like. I just, you know. Do you think the Lions are done in free agency? No, I still think that they're going to sign. Hopefully they sign this Birch fella, so that we can do something opposite of Tate Ratledge, because Christian Mahogany ain't it. We don't know what Miles Frazier is. I think Miles Frazier should be given a shot to grow and to show what he can do throughout training camp. But I also believe that you need to address that guard position, so that if he doesn't show that he's able to do the same things or better things than everybody else on the roster, then at least you have a contingency plan. That's what I would say. Yeah, I knew what you were saying. I don't see all the comments. Are you live on 2 channels right now? I am live on my YouTube channel and on LNU. So yeah, if you want to just duplicate your page and pop into the LNU one as well, and then you can see all of the comments. But you should be able to see them when I put them up on the screen, right? Wow, Brad Holmes signing a Sunday garage sale guy when the garage sale started Thursday. Woo! Let's get excited. This is the guy that's good. Win us the Super Bowl. Let's party now that he's here. Woo! Yeah, we're not really excited. We just, look, he was better than no edge at all, which is what we had on the opposite side of Hutch. They wouldn't do anything or won't do? Yeah. Nah. There's nothing major coming. There's never been anything major coming in free agency. Yes, FYI. So if all of you guys that are on LNU subscribed to Motor City Cats. Like in the description, it says, if you like it, go ahead and hit subscribe on it. And then you can just hit my channel and you can go subscribe. You support your boy. That's all I'm saying. You support you. You watch me on LNU. Watch me on Motor City Cats. Right? Motor City Cats is my channel. Right? And you know, we're trying to get back to monetization, which I was at when I was somewhere else, which to be continued. I did recently receive an email to a reporter who investigates things. To be continued. Hitherto forthwith, I shall let you know how it goes down. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Okay, you found the second channel. So Motor City Cats is my channel. So if that was the one that you weren't on, I appreciate the subscription. All right, Robert Stevens, we'll holla at you. Tell me how little you care about improving without telling me, Brad. Watch this ish. I'm not upset at a depth signing. I'm just upset that that's all we're signing. You know what I'm saying? Like we signed Larry Borom, who shout out Larry Borom, not trying to poo-poo on him, Detroit native. You already know what it is, Birmingham Brother Rice. You feel me? But is he a starter? Or is he a depth piece that you're going to make a starter? You know, I understand if you want to cry broke. I just don't believe you are broke. You know what I mean? So these signings that just don't move the needle, they are just plugging holes in the roster. But it's the type of thing where you plug a hole and it immediately springs a leak. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he was on all 22. That's freaking crazy, bro. That's freaking crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna put that email to work. I'll tell you that much. And I hope the reporter wants to investigate some things. I think Brad takes the guy from Georgia, the LT Monroe Freeling, but I don't know how he makes his way to pick 17 unless we trade up a little bit. So Daniel Jeremiah, who's pretty tapped in, had the Detroit Lions taking Monroe Freeling in his latest mock draft. So it's possible he could slide. Honestly, I love it. Just means Brad's done when we don't win the NFL championship. I mean, you would hope. You would hope that it means that much to Sheila. Subscriber to both channels plus the 365 Syndicats. Well, we appreciate that. Here's Johnny. Appreciate your subscriptions. Appreciate your patronage. All right, y'all. That's what I'm going in with. That's the investigation. That's the investigation. That's the thing that's gonna get the hook with this dude, hopefully, and then anything else is just gravy. But I want that to be exposed because that's crazy. That's crazy. You know? That is literally crazy. When I had the buy me a coffee link in my descriptions and everything, it said if you like this type of content, please consider buying me a coffee. Me, I never said no crazy stuff like I was collecting money for a cause. You know, like no, I said buy me one. I let y'all know that I was asking. Did you buy me one? You know what I'm saying? we just used to firing GMs and coaches around here. Yeah, I mean, you know, until you can find the formula that's going to win you the Super Bowl, which we've never been to in what, the 60 years that the thing has been in existence. You know, I don't know, man. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go get some dishwasher pods or whatever. I gotta go get some of those. I don't have any. And then I gotta get to work. So I gotta run down the street, run back here, get back to work. All right, y'all. So we will see you tomorrow. And again, we will be live right before Syndicats 365. So I've got the double show. So appreciate you. If you are watching this later and you are not currently a subscriber to all of the channels, please make sure that you click the description, the link in the description, and go over to Motor City Cats and subscribe. It really helps me out. It helps me try to get monetized so that I can do this more regularly and I can make this, you know, more a part of my life and eventually make it what I do on a daily basis as my job. And, you know, so support your boy. Also, Syndicats 365, that is me. That is Lions Syndicate. That is Lions Live 365. We are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going back to our regular schedule since there's really not too much news in free agency. So if you are not a subscriber of that channel, please go ahead and subscribe to that. But it is not a channel. It is just on Lions Syndicate. So if you're not a subscriber of Lions Syndicate, please make sure you go over there and do that. And then check us out. I'm live at 8 p.m. We are live at 9 p.m. And that is where we are. All right, y'all. Once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.